just right now. But the topic that I'm gonna be talking about is a lot of these women are depreciating assets, man. And I'm gonna just use like straight up logic with this. I'm gonna use economics. I'm gonna use my own understanding of how the stock market works to explain why a lot of these women are depreciating asset, man. First of all, I'm gonna start off with the whole idea of what a depreciating asset is, or what the meaning of it is. When when I mention depreciating asset, I'm talking about a value that is no longer worth what it used to be. Something that loses its value over time. Something that doesn't compensate for any losses. It doesn't have any compensation for its losses. And you do more harm staying in that type of investment because the value of it is going to go down even further, and you're going to lose a lot more than what you should have gained if you would have pulled out of that investment initially. When you notice that the asset has depreciated, it's best to pull out sooner than later than keeping your money in an asset that is not going to bounce back. Now, if you have faith that the asset is going to basically bounce back, then you can know I can invest a little bit more time and energy in it because you know eventually it's going to bounce back and you're gonna recover from any losses. But in the essence of the dating scene, when it comes on to these modern women, majority of them are depreciating assets. They are not worth the time and energy of you investing into them. When you have a stock market, a particular stock market, right? Now I'm talking about stock markets. I'm using certain analogies to illustrate my point. When you think about the stock market and how certain asset is more viable than others, certain assets have the potential to grow even further versus others that are not going to grow so much, then you're really more selective in which asset you're going to decide to invest in. Now, in the same essence, when it comes on to women, you got to be very selective in which type of woman to invest in, because not every woman is really gonna bring the best out of you. It's gonna bring the most um, bang for your buck, so to speak. You got a lot of women that add little to no value to your life. There are depreciating asset, which means a lot of these women are single mothers, right? That is a depreciating asset that a man should invest in. For the simple fact that majority of the women gonna want you to be a stepdaughter, a stepdaddy to a kid that's not even yours. That's a depreciating asset. You investing in something that is not gonna benefit you in any way, shape, or form. Now you got women like that, who are single mothers who have kids out of wedlock, and they expect you to invest in them and their kids. That's a depreciating asset. You're not getting nothing from that. You're not getting nothing from that. Um, you want to be able to see your legacy live out. You want to see your legacy grow. That's an appreciating asset because you know that you invested in something that you have built yourself. Now, if you invest in something that somebody else has built, that's not your castle. That's not your domain. That's not something that you seen grown and flourish on your own by your own merit. So, what are you benefiting from that? Absolutely nothing. And a lot of guys are willing to invest in an asset that's more of a liability than an actual asset that's gonna bring some value in their life. And a lot of these women are depreciating asset, man. And you gotta be more selective in which type of woman you invest your time, energy, and resources into. You gotta be more selective because a lot of these women, they don't add value into your life. All they bring is drama, baggage. All they bring is problems that they had from previous relationship, and you as a man have to help sort out that issue. And it's like, why are you being her therapist, man? Why are you trying to advise someone on how they should better their life when they should have their problems all sorted out? And it's like guys don't understand their worth. They don't understand their value, and they're willing to invest in something that don't have any value, man. They're willing to invest in these women that are literally depreciating. Their looks are no longer the same. Now look at this when it comes on to biology, right? There's a correlation between the two because when a woman is young, right? When she in her, late teens, early 20s, mid 30s, I mean mid 20s and like early 30s sometimes, they're like at the peak of their looks, right? They look the most attractive. They're the most fertile. Their asset is high. They appreciate they have an appreciating asset at that point. But are they willing to settle down with a good quality man during their prime years? No. They choose the worst possible man. They choose the guys that are emotionally unavailable. They choose a guy that is toxic. They choose a guy that is, abusive, a guy that is no good for them. And they deal with these toxic men and ignore good guys, and they end up being used and abused by these type of men. And after that, their values starts to depreciate. And once their value depreciates, they come run into these men that they didn't even acknowledge during their prime, and they want you as a man to invest in the asset that's already depreciated. That's not going to value you. That's not going to bring value to you. A lot of times, these women can't even have kids because at that point, their fertility is no longer the same. When they're in their prime, that's when their asset is at the highest. They appreciate their asset is at the highest it needs to be because they have the fertility, they have the looks, they have the feminine. They got the feminine look. They got everything that a man should want to invest in because he know there's gonna be benefits for that investment. But are they choosing these good quality men to spend time with and settle down with? Nope. They're dealing with the worst possible men. So as a man, you gotta know your worth. You gotta know your value. You gotta know that you are worth more than what you think you are because you're the one that bring in your attention, the resources, the protection. These are values that cannot be traded. You know what I'm saying? So when they talk about economy, a lot of these women are depreciating assets, and these women, first of all, a lot of them don't even look authentic. They don't even look real. A lot of them have a lot of cosmetic surgery to make themselves look more pretty or attractive than they actually are. Their body is not real. You're not getting what you really pay for. You're not getting the real deal. So and values in terms of look, it's not there. It's not real. It's not authentic. So guys are investing in assets that are not actually real. And in terms of that dynamic, guys have to understand that I cannot be investing in something that actually doesn't bring value to my life. This person is not there to support me when I'm going through my hardships in life. They're not there to help me cope with the struggles that I'm facing in life. They don't bring any value to my life. In fact, they just make my life a living hell. They all want to do is argue. They want to be argumentative. They want to be combative. They just bring nothing but drama into my life. That's a depreciating asset because if you're not really mindful of that, that woman could take years off your life because you're stressed out trying to please someone who cannot be pleased, man. That is a complete narcissist. You get what I'm saying? A lot of these women are complete narcissists, man, and they'll only want to do is bring you down, man. They like to see you, and they like to see you down in spirit, man, because misery love company. But it comes back to the whole, the stock market analogy, man. It's not in your best interest to invest in a company that's about to go bankrupt, man. And when you think about certain stocks, it's like certain stocks you know for a fact it's not gonna bounce back because it has a reputation of being unreliable, not trustworthy. It has a reputation for fucking people over, so people don't trust in that stock anymore. They're not gonna recommend it to somebody else. In fact, they're gonna get negative reviews. So it has a bad track record of doing people wrong. So that asset is going to fall dramatically. And you got some people that are naive to think, okay, maybe I could come in and put a little money because I it could eventually bounce back and I could see some benefit. But If you see a pattern, it's best for you not to invest in something that shows that is not gonna really do you any good in the long run. Same thing with a woman. If she has a pattern of being in and out of relationship, if she has a pattern of being in toxic relationships, and she has a pattern of not staying faithful to one man, or she may have a pattern of cheating, or she have a pattern of lying and being manipulative and not being um feminine. Once you see that, that's your go-to, like your go-to to like get out of that stock, man. Get out of that. Get out. Because if you stay in that relationship, or this if you deal with that woman long enough, she's gonna drain you of all your resources, drain you of all your energy, drain you of everything you have, and leave you empty handed, and not give you anything in return. That it's gonna destroy your life. Same thing with these stocks, man. You got people who put in money into these stocks, and they buy it, and the stock is never coming back. It's never gonna bounce back, and they're losing time and money off of that shit. Same thing with these women. A lot of these women are depreciating asset, and guys are like investing way more than they need to into these women, and these women are not adding no value to their life. They're not benefiting them in any way, shape, or form. They're not encouraging them. They're not being there a system of encourage. They're not encouraging them when a guy, going through hardships in life. The woman's not there encouraging you. She's not there to cater to you. She's not cleaning for you. She's not being a wife, a woman. She's not being the wife that she's supposed to be to you. While you're investing all this into her, time, money, energy, that is a depreciating asset. That's something you need to get out of. But some guys are naive. They think, oh, I could change this woman. I could convince her to change, man. Once, what do you call it? You can't teach a dog new tricks or some shit. Or there's a saying, once a cheater is always a cheater. Some guys are really naive. They really think they could convince this woman to like them or change their ways and be better. And you know, bro, once a woman's stuck in their ways, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. That comes natural to them. So some guys, they gotta be honest with themselves and be like, you know what, I'm investing way more than I need to invest in this woman, and it's in my best interest to like pull out of this investment. And before this thing is come crashing down, before it drags me down with it, and I end up losing more than what I actually need to make. You know what I'm saying? I need to pull out of that investment, count my losses, and whatever I have left over, invest in something else that will bring me the benefit that I want and desire in life. And that means going after a woman that's most likely single, that is like submissive, that is, that it caters to you, that supports you, that bring out the best in you. That's the type of asset you should invest in as a man. And sometimes it's gonna take time for you to spend time with yourself, to make sure you develop yourself as a man, to make sure you understand what it takes to get to that next level, so that you become that person that you always wanted to be, where a woman will be gravitating to you, and you attract the right woman in your life, and that she will be more of a benefit than a hindrance to you. And that's very important. That's a very important aspect of investment. But people fail to understand that simple analogy when it comes on to the investment part of it, because guys out here are investing in women that don't bring any value to their life, and they still think that this woman's gonna change, man. And all this woman is doing is just dragging them down. That's just bringing them down, and it's not really benefiting them in any way, shape, or form. And you got guys out here that are married to women that are withholding sex from them, man. Guys that are not even getting any type of affection from women that they committed to their life to, man. And that's the worst type of investment you can do as a man. You devoted your whole life to this woman. You said you said you want this woman to be your lawful wedded wife, and in sickness and death and all this stuff. You made this vow to her, but yet she can't even put out the most basic stuff you desire as a man, which is sex, affection, companionship. All these things, she's not even giving it to you. So that's a depreciating asset. Why are you investing in something that's not bringing no value to you? But guys out here, they gonna simp. There's a lot of guys out here that are just plain old simps, and they gonna still invest in assets that are not bringing no value to their life, man. So that's why I really want to make this topic because this is something that came to my mind. I'm like, nobody. I've never heard anybody make this analogy ever before when it comes onto the whole like stock market. Because I'm thinking about it, certain stocks are better than others, and you got to do your research too. Oh, there's another key idea. A lot of guys don't do their research before they get with a certain woman. They don't get to know the woman first. All they care about is, getting laid. They see the woman and she looks attractive, and they get caught up in her beauty without getting to know the woman first, and then they get trapped into, getting a woman that's toxic and a woman that doesn't bring no value to them. And instead of them doing their research, just like with the stock, so in order for you to invest in a stock, you got to know what it stands. You got to know what's the mission statement of that stock, and is that stock has the potential for growth in the future. But if you don't understand the growth of that stock, and you invest in any stock, you're basically setting yourself up for failure because certain stocks are gonna be doing more. Certain stocks are just trending downward, and you didn't understand their mission statement and you don't understand where their projection is going to be down the road. You just look at it and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. Well, I never heard about that. Let me just invest in this. And you just look at it based on what it sounds like before doing your research, before doing your due diligence to understand what the stock means, what's the behavior of that stock. But guys are not willing to do their research. They're willing to just invest in anything, and that's the problem with a lot of guys when it comes to the dating scene. They're not willing to get to know the woman first before they lay up with this woman, and they devote more their time and energy into this woman. And some guys, sometimes the guy put a ring on it, and they don't even know the woman from left and right. Some guys will marry a woman in such a short period of time without even getting to know this woman. Is the woman really worthy to be a wife? They don't even My God, man, they don't even test the water first to see if this woman is really worthy to be a wife. But they so quick to wife her up, and next thing you know, she's cheating on him, or she ends up taking everything that he worked for, and he ends up killing himself or killing her, or killing the kids. It's like you lost everything in return. Like you didn't get anything out of that investment. So in essence, you really didn't do your due diligence. You didn't do your research to really find out if this woman is really the best fit for you. You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the stock market, man. You got to do your research before you invest in certain stocks. Am I right? Am I not right? That before you invest in a stock, you got to do your research to make sure that stock is the right one for you. That it actually has a potential upside. That it has a potential to make you a lot of money in the near future, right? But guys are out here just laying up with any random woman, and this woman could be the devil in disguise, man. A lot of times, guys will lay up with a woman that is is we call it energy vampire. A woman that just will take you in, make you feel like she really there with you. She's really there for you, and then she takes everything from you. They're energy vampires. They just take everything from you, and then you end up empty-handed. You get what I'm saying? So it's not an asset that you should invest in. It's not an asset that you should invest in. The market is not good, and the market is really in a decline right now in terms of general dating scene. When it comes on to these modern women, the market is in a decline, man. Seldom do you find really good women that you can really start a family with, man. Most of these women are not even worth it anymore, especially in this American society, man. But anyways, this is a topic I want to talk about, man, because I'm bringing up new topics, new ideas, and nobody has ever talked about this before. And if anybody talks about this and use this analogy that I'm using, just know that they stole my talking points because I'm the only one I know that have made this connection between the stock market and these women. These women are depreciating assets, man. A lot of them are. Majority of them are, you know. Even down to the way they look, it's not authentic. So you're not getting the real deal. You're getting synthetic shares. I don't know. I'm sure you guys never heard about this word before. Synthetic shares. Oh my god, man! I'm using some terms you guys never heard before, but synthetic shares are not the actual real shares. They are what do you call it? They're the fake. They're like, man. There's a word I can't think off the top of my head, but it's like it's not the real deal. It's the fake one, but it looks like it's real, but it's fake. Same thing with women. You know, a lot of times they don't even look real. They don't have the makeup and all the weaves and all the shit. They're not even looking real to begin with, and you don't even know what you're really getting. So, anyways, I summarized my point, man. Know what you invested in, plan ahead accordingly, and make sure if you see an asset depreciating, get out of Dodge. Don't wait for the shit to crash even further because it's only gonna bring you down more. And I end my case with that, and that's about it. And I finish this video at this, man. Like, comment, and subscribe, and donate to my Cash App if you can. Thank you so much for the support, and have a great one. Bye for now.